Blessings everyone, this is Chris Kendall from the rawadvantage.com, registered holistic nutritionist, raw food lifestyle coach, and raw chef. Today we have a long overdue topic, mucoid plaque. Are we all full of old crap, or is it just this flawed concept that's full of it? Today we're gonna flesh out the truth about mucoid plaque.
Baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Hey.
Now before we get into it, for those who are new to my channel, like, subscribe, comment, by the way, I've been into health and nutrition since 1999. It became a huge passion of mine that led me to enrolling in the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition in 2003. 1 year full time, I became a registered holistic nutritionist. Around that same time, I also went 100% raw after meeting Dr. Doug Graham. And now it's been 16 years that I've been full time working as a health coach and a holistic nutritionist, focusing on the raw vegan lifestyle and fitness to help dispel myths and help people thrive in an easy, fun, and delicious way. Now, I feel really blessed to have learned from and mentored under many long-term raw vegans who've been doing this a lot longer than me, doctors, fasting experts, health enthusiasts, and I've been casually researching this topic for over 20 years to try and get to the bottom of it. Now, a real big disclaimer, this video is not about anyone in particular at all. It's just about the concept itself. If this is triggering to you, then you're gonna wanna watch the whole thing. If you know anyone who's gone down that mucoid plaque rabbit hole and is just you might want to share this with them. Get this out there, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Now, I know some people are going to say, but I did the cleanse, or I did the fast, or I did the juice feast, and I saw it come out. I touched it, I've held it up, I took pictures of it, I smelled it. I've seen it through all my clients. It's true, I know it. I'm sorry, that's really the only evidence there is seeing stuff come out. And I'm not denying that stuff comes out during any of those things, which we're going to go into, but it's not old impacted wastes that are hardened along the digestive tract, otherwise known as the concept of mucoid plaque. Now you may be asking, why am I even making this video? Well, in the health and wellness community, and especially in the raw vegan community, there's a lot of old crap out there, and not mucoid plaque. Mucoid plaque is part of that old crap. And I think that truth and real quality information that is verifiable is very important. I really want to see raw veganism and veganism seen in a very credible, positive light. And when there's a lot of information like this going out there, honestly, in some circles, we're just a laughing stock, made fun of, and easy to discredit. I really want us to be taken seriously, and we're not by most people in the mainstream. Beyond that, and maybe more important than that, in my coaching practice of over 16 years, I've coached and talked with far too many people who have taken this way too far and over cleansed themselves, disrupted their digestion, had a rockier health journey than they needed to, and spent a lot of unnecessary money, time, stress, and preoccupation. Now, I'll be honest, I kind of wish it was true, because it's fantastic, it's amazing, and it's like really compelling. And when you show pictures of stuff, I'm sorry for everyone who's done that and dug in their toilet and stuff like that. Again, this may trigger you. It's tough to let go of old beliefs, but it's such a miraculous, amazing, shocking sales tactic that it really gets people into cleanses or into fasts or to buy your books or to get your services. And again, this isn't about anyone, and I've procrastinated on this for a while. I don't want to hurt anyone's bottom line, but again, I think it's time that we all raise the bar. And this is why I would really recommend you to listen to this entire video, no matter how much it triggers you, and share it with those you think it might trigger and need this information. And where better to begin but with the history and definition of mucoid plaque. The concept and name mucoid plaque was first introduced by naturopath Richard Anderson in his 1987 book Cleanse and Purify Thyself, where he described it as a harmful accumulation of mucus, undigested food, and waste lining the intestines. Anderson claimed it could be eliminated through detox programs, creating kits like Cleanse 14, Cleanse 28, and the popular Arise and Shine, all of which are still available today. Prior to Anderson, Bernard Jensen, a chiropractor naturopath, emphasized bowel health in his works, advocating for detoxification practices. Despite these claims, the mainstream medical community has consistently rejected the idea of mucoid plaque. Pathologist Edward Earthman, for example, stated that after seeing thousands of intestinal biopsies, he has never encountered any mucoid plaque, calling it a complete fabrication. Medical professionals argue that any substances expelled during detox programs are typically from the products themselves, such as fiber supplements, bentonite clay, and/or herbs as found in the Arise and Shine cleanse, not from any pre-existing plaque, and that the digestive system is naturally self-cleaning. Now let's get into what mucoid plaque is not. Conditions like bloating, constipation, and diarrhea are sometimes mistakenly attributed to mucoid plaque, but they're typically caused by food intolerances, infections, or imbalances in the gut microbiota. Changes in stool appearance, often cited as evidence of mucoid plaque, are also usually due to dietary factors or the effects of laxatives and cleansing products. Diverticulosis, which can lead to diverticulitis, is often confused with mucoid plaque. Diverticulosis occurs when small pouches, diverticula, form in the digestive tract, especially in the colon, due to weak spots in the intestinal wall and pressure from constipation. While food particles or stool can get temporarily stuck in the diverticula, it does not create a harmful buildup or plaque. This is a completely separate phenomenon, which is visible during medical imaging, unlike mucoid plaque, which lacks any anatomical evidence. The digestive tract's natural mucus production and the presence of beneficial bacteria are a part of healthy digestive function, not indications of a harmful buildup. Now let's get into some claims made by the proponents of this mucoid plaque myth. One of the biggest ones I hear is that it's the root of all disease, that you can't get well without first getting rid of mucoid plaque, and you have to do a special cleanse, or you have to do a special protocol or a fast to get rid of it, that it takes a long time, but once you do, oh, you're in for a treat. Oh, I'm sorry. And again, I apologize to laugh. I'm not trying to throw any shade whatsoever. I firmly believe that most people promoting this really 100% believe what they're doing is totally true and is the best information out there. I'm sorry, it's just not the case. I've heard some fasting practitioners say that only the way they specifically do a water fast and teach others and supervise others is the only way that it comes out. Otherwise, you're not doing it right. I've also heard the same thing about certain juice fasts, that you have to do it exactly right. Otherwise, you're not going to do it. You only have to do it once. And I'm not saying that fasting or juicing is bad whatsoever. I'm just talking specifically about these claims. I think in a lot of cases they're not needed, and that there's more benefit to just living a simple, well-rounded, whole food-based raw food or high raw diet. But this concept that you need to fast or juice just doesn't hold water. Now, speaking of not holding water, I also heard one raw food health coach talk about another mentor of his who had been on the mucusless diet healing system for over 40 years, done tons of juice fasts, water fasts, and many dry fasts, which I do not recommend whatsoever. That's another topic. And separately, he was doing water enemas at the same time, which isn't a dry fast because you're absorbing water through the poo-poo. But the point of it, that he also said during that dry fast of 40 days, he was passing mucoid plaque. Now, if you've been doing the mucusless diet healing system for 40 years and doing all these fasts and cleanses, and you're still eliminating mucoid plaque, it's time to rethink what is coming out. As we went over, there are various products that are used to cleanse yourself of mucoid plaque. A lot of them cost quite a lot of money, and a lot of people offering their services, they cost a lot of money. And again, I'm not saying that those are bad services, but for this specific reason and this as the main impetus for doing them, it's flawed. Now, I'm not expecting everyone to just change their mind after watching this video. I hope most people do. But if you don't want to take my word for it, let's hear from 3 raw and high raw vegan doctors and fasting experts on this topic.
Being that you've supervised over 20,000 fasts, you've probably seen more things come out of more people than almost anyone. And within the health field, people talk about mucoid plaque, and it's a big controversial subject. I'm curious your view on it.
People talk about mucoid plaque, though. They're talking about a caked up buildup inside the colon. And some people, particularly people that are involved in the bowel laundry movement, where they're doing colonics and everything, try to give people these images and pictures of 20 or 30 pounds of caked on materials that have built up and that you're flushing that out. And they'll give people treatments like they'll give them bentonite or something that'll blow up in their intestinal tract. And then they'll pass a bunch of voluminous material, along with it maybe some accumulated materials, and pretend that this is this massive cleansing, when really what they've done is they've taken materials that expand tenfold when exposed to water. They'll do a lot of enemas and colonics and other things, and the problem is we're not really based on reality. If you ask gastroenterologists who spend their whole life cameras up people's butts, they'll tell you that's not real. Even in people on poor diets, that's not what they're finding. Now, the ropeworms, though, are particularly interesting because that's been well studied, and people swore that those were parasites, and they would keep treating for this supposed parasitic infection. If you analyze them, and they have carefully, they are human DNA. They're not exogenous parasites, but they look like worms.
I've seen a human body opened up from the mouth to the rectum, so to speak, and I've analyzed, as I said, hundreds of autopsies. And not only that, but I've also seen very sick patients, because the people who die are usually very sick with all the chronic conditions that you can imagine. And I've seen microscopic sections, meaning we take a piece out of your esophagus, a piece out of your stomach, colon, your small bowel, every single part that can be examined. We look at it under the microscope to make a diagnosis. So my job is basically that I look with my eyes the gross pathology, meaning pathology means disease, a study of disease. And then I look microscopically using the microscope, small pieces of tissue that we cannot see with our naked eye. So we magnify it and we establish a diagnosis based on what we see. So that's what I do.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, you pretty much couldn't ask for a better insight into the inner workings of the digestive tract or the human body. In your 200 plus observations and times being directly inside of people's entire digestive tracts, from mouth to tail, as they say, do you see mucoid plaque?
What is called as mucoid plaque, as the pictures that you see online with these protocols of detoxification, right? Like a rope with pebbles, or something that looks like a serpent, or things that are hardened and very dark. I've never seen anything like that, even in very sick people.
Can you definitively say that within the medical establishment, it's not a grand conspiracy that you were told you must tell everyone that mucoid plaque doesn't exist?
No.
I'm sorry, I had to. Some people really think that everyone's in on it. This is a grand conspiracy, and I know there's conspiracy from some stuff out there, but I just don't think this is one of them.
No.
When this was a hot topic for me back in the 90s, I had the opportunity and access to speak to a variety of surgeons who remove colons from people and sections of intestines from people. Never, ever, ever did any of those 9 surgeons say that there's ever been a hint of anything adhering to the walls. There's no possibility for mucoid plaque. Plaque is something that sticks in place, like plaque on your teeth.
Yeah.
And mucus is a transport medium. It's always in motion. You can't have something that's stuck in place, constantly in motion. The term is a oxymoron to begin with. And physiologically and anatomically, it cannot happen. It cannot exist. I've never done an autopsy, but going through school, I got to look at 59 different bodies in that class. But there was no mucoid plaque in any of the 59 dead people who live standard Western lives of horrible food. I only saw those 59 bodies, but I also was into health at the time and got to talk to the anatomy instructor. She's seen hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of dead bodies. No mucoid plaque.
Yeah.
It's totally mythical. There's no way that it even remotely makes sense.
No.
And it can't exist.
Yeah.
So we're talking about something that can't exist and an elimination method of it that can't possibly work. I guess if I have to vote, I'm going to say no, there's no mucoid plaque.
Yeah, no.
All right, now let's get into what actually happens in the digestive system, no matter if we're eating food, we're doing a juicing protocol, we're water fasting, or we're doing a dry fast, which again, I do not recommend. And mucus's role in all of this, because no matter what we're consuming, we still produce mucus. Yes, even if you're on a mucusless diet. Yes, you heard that right. Along the entire digestive tract, as Dr. Arelli went into, there are mucus producing cells. This mucus protects the lining of the digestive tract from all the digestive enzymes and acids in the digestion process. And it also provides lubrication for the bolus or the feces, food stuff, to go through the digestive tract and be eliminated. Now, I know there's a lot of information about biofilms, and yes, they exist. This is a combination of the mucus as well as the microbiome itself, which shifts vastly depending upon what we eat or we don't eat. These are short-term life cycles. Now, if we're eating a basic diet, we're just going to be utilizing that mucus to provide lubricant as well as a medium for the microbiome as food is digested and absorbed. Now, if we're on a simple raw food diet, we're much more likely to be eating about our regular amount of calories we're required to maintain our weight, or for a lot of people, slightly less, especially when they're new to it, which means we're going to be bringing more cellular waste, burning more fat tissue into the digestive tract to be bound and eliminated. Beyond this, the lining of the digestive tract is 1 cell thick, and this cell is continually regenerating itself. In fact, it's among the fastest regenerating cells in the entire body, as it's being subject to acids and other digestive enzymes, so it's being broken down and also incorporated into the bolus or the mixture that we're going to be eliminating. If you refer back to what Dr. Alan Goldhammer said when they actually tested stuff that comes out during a fast, it contained mostly human tissue. This is in part the sloughed off cells of the lining of the digestive tract. Those sloughed off cells come into the digestion as well, mixed with mucus, mixed with foodstuff, mixed with microbiome die-off, and continues its way through the digestive tract, all bunched up as water gets pulled out of it progressively. More and more nutrients are absorbed more and more throughout their respective parts, and then we expel out what is left over. Now let's get into the juicy bit. When you're juice fasting, you're eliminating a ton of fiber, but not all fiber as some people think. You're still getting the soluble fiber, which actually does bulk up, which still feeds the microbiome, albeit not as many different strains as having insoluble fiber in whole foods, but still contributes to the microbiome, which has its die-offs. The cell lining of the digestive tract is shed into that mix, and it is also mixed in with mucus. Now, because you don't have nearly as much fiber to help push that bolus through the digestive tract, it slowly accumulates and accumulates while you're juice fasting along the small intestine in the digestive tract, and this can create those long rope-like, bulbous, rubbery, and even hard, especially if there are some out pockets that were healed and that has come into the mixture that people think are mucoid plaque. Now, if during the juice fast or a water fast, you're taking in some cleanse kit supplements, which usually are a mix of psyllium husk, bentonite clay, and other various herbs that can actually irritate the digestive tract and create more mucus, and in some circumstances blood, which can lead to really black, foul stuff that is going to be passed eventually, then you get even more of this supposed mucoid plaque. Now, you could be juice fasting for as long as you want, and you're still going to be periodically eliminating this waste as it accumulates in the digestive tract and gets to a critical point where the body is just like, whoosh. This is that feeling when people say they just feel so much better, so it just must be the truth. But the reality is they have that waste slowly accumulating during the juice fast, not from before it, until it reaches a point where you're reabsorbing some of it. You start to feel a little bit off and your body's like, ugh, and then floosh, it comes out, and of course you feel so much better. But again, this is not old wastes. Now you can imagine the same thing happening with water fasting, but you're not getting that beneficial soluble fiber. So with no fiber whatsoever, we have an even larger die-off of the microbiome, which can take a while, and we have an even slower accumulation of waste along the digestive tract. Now, this is also why some fasting practitioners say you can't clear mucoid plaque unless you do it long enough with me and keep on pushing for longer. But that's just because it's reaching a critical point where the body, without the fiber, without the motility provided by fiber, it accumulates to a point where it takes longer for your body to just flush it out to get rid of that waste. Now, this is even further hindered by dry fasting. It's important to note that every cell in the body requires a level of hydration to detoxify itself efficiently. So by eliminating water and really dehydrating yourself, you're limiting your body's ability to actually efficiently detoxify and eliminate waste products from the cells. This simply further stresses out the organs of elimination and the entire body itself, and can lead to people feeling really warm or hot, euphoric, and when they finally clear stuff out, really dang good, because they've again allowed their body to release that waste that has been just accumulating during the fast in the digestive tract. Now, what do all these three things have in common? Well, yeah, you're always passing some mucus. There's going to be some microbiome die-off. There's going to be the lining of the digestive tract that is being sloughed off and mixed into that. And it's whether it's mixed up with food or whether it's mixed up with bentonite clay and psyllium husk and herbs irritating and causing more, or juice fiber, or just taking a little bit longer, and it's just those things with no fiber included and a larger microbiome die-off, which Sadly, I've coached many people after long-term juice cleanses or water fast, they have a harder time digesting certain foods as they've had so much of a microbiome die-off, very commonly having issues with fats or even veggies and greens as their hydrochloric acid levels drop as well. Now, we've already went over some of the dangers of mucoid plaque and doing these different types of protocols, whether they're juicing or long-term fasting or using these cleanse kits, whether it's disrupting the microbiome, creating imbalances, poorer digestion, spending a lot of money or time, or just simply being preoccupied with it. But another big thing is I found it to create a real yo-yo type behavior with people where they do this really intense protocol for a while to get rid of the mucoid plaque, and then they yo-yo back to a heavier diet or to foods that they don't really consider foods and would never want to eat, which I've sadly seen lead to disordered eating and an unhealthy obsession about detoxification and purity, never feeling like they're clean and pure enough. I, for one, think there have been far too many people who have went way down that rabbit hole with really negative consequences, even death. It can be so easy to have your mind blown when you come into raw food and think that there's a conspiracy around every single corner. Sadly, this can lead to some people dismissing critical thinking and instead just taking on fantastical, amazing sounding, quick short-term claims instead of long-term, healthy, holistic protocols. Hey, and I get it, because people like quick short-term protocols and solutions. You give them a problem and you give them the solution, and it's easy to sell. It's a quick fix. Just do this 30-day this, or fast with me for 40 days, or XYZ, and all of a sudden you can absorb way better, and then finally you can build, and you don't have to eat any calories anymore. Oh gosh, another myth, but my gosh, I understand the appeal. A part of me wishes it was true. I could sell a heck of a lot more, books and cleansing protocols and services and stuff like that, but it simply isn't the case. And if you've bought this hook, line, and sinker, you've seen the pictures and you've seen stuff come out yourself. Well, the placebo effect has some weight here. You believe it. You think you've got rid of this demon, this thing that has just been hindering your health your whole life, and you've been accumulating with all your past indiscretions, but you could just fix it in this short-term protocol. Just stick with it. I'm sorry, it isn't true. A long-term healthy lifestyle is going to do you much better than any short-term protocol unless it brings you into a long-term lifestyle. And again, I'm not against juicing. I don't really do it too much myself, but not everyone needs to do a juice fast. Not everyone has to do a long-term fast to get rid of mucoid plaque. There can be a time and place for those things, for a quick pep up or to come through a chronic condition that isn't being solved with a long-term lifestyle, but not for mucoid plaque. Now to a more sustainable approach for gut health. We're going to want to include plenty of whole foods as nature presented. Again, I'm not against juice, but when the diet is made up primarily of whole foods, we have the digestive tract working and functioning optimally with the types of fiber that we're designed to eat, moving through, providing the foods for the microbiome so we can have a healthy, well-rounded microbiome to be able to digest, absorb, and assimilate the nutrients found there within. When we start removing all fibers or really reducing our variety of foods, it is at our detriment. Now, I'm a strong proponent of a simple low-fat, raw vegan diet. As you know, if you haven't been following me for a while, now it's time to hit subscribe, like, comment. If you don't like this video, let me know why below, but make sure you watch the whole thing. But a diet that is focused around fruits and vegetables, preferably raw or otherwise lightly cooked, steamed with water, wet heat, is going to be the absolute best way to support your digestion, support a healthy microbiome, and support yourself with all the nutrients you require from food-borne sources. If you want a whole bunch more, again, make sure you subscribe and check out my playlist. I got tons of videos. I've been doing this since 2011, so there's a lot of content there. All right, let's wrap up and summarize this. So mucoid math is simply a myth perpetuated by misinformation and marketing. Your body is self-cleaning, self-detoxing, self-organized, self-healing. All you got to do is provide it the holistic components, including food that it needs, and it's fully capable of healing itself. Health is our natural state, and this can be incredibly empowering because what you do, what you put in your mouth, the activity you have, the water you drink, the sunshine you get, all of these things come together to complete your total health package. And the power is in you. The power is your choice, not some mythical thing inside your stomach that you got to do some expensive cleanse or go somewhere far away or challenge yourself by spending hours in the kitchen juicing all day. I'm sorry, but none of those things are actually the case, as evidenced by people who work directly in the digestive tract and cut it all open all the way through, inspect every single cell, rather than the claims made by people who just see stuff come out. And again, stuff comes out. You know, whether you're eating or whether you're juice feasting or fasting or whether you're water fasting or, again, not recommending dry fasting, yes, stuff can come out. But it's not old waste, and I really hope that this video has cleared that up for you. So what do you think of this whole mucoid plaque myth? Have I and the other doctors who have been in this video convinced you? Have you changed your mind a little bit, or are you still digging your heels in and really believe it? You know, give me a like if you like it. Share it with some people you think need to hear about this. You know, comment below whether you agree or whether you don't agree, or if this really opened your eyes to something, create a little bit of shift. I really want to know. I'm doing this because I firmly believe that health is within our control, and I want to empower you with really good, relevant, scientifically proven, and demonstratable facts. Now, again, this is a video that's been on the back burner for a long time, and I have a whole bunch. If there's any other hot topics you want me to address, to go into, I got a bit of a laundry list, but I want to hear what you want me to go into next. So again, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe. So many people haven't even subscribed yet. Give your subscribe. But as always, wishing you much peace, love, and seasonal fruit.
Debunking mucoid plaque. Flushing out this crappy myth.
Ooh, don't forget to check out my raw recipes playlist in the top left, the video just for you in the top right, subscribe for more videos in the bottom right, and get your 3 free ebooks in the bottom left. Grab your free raw recipe app, available on iPhone and Android, with over 100 free raw recipes, common fruit and vegetable calorie breakdown, frickin' raw food combining chart, shopping cart function, and so much more.